My name is Denises and I'm from Russia. And Russia is not the best place for LGBT people. There are a lot of superstitions, a lot of anti-LGBT propaganda. And that's why I started to look for more opportunities in Europe, because I am a bi-gender person. To be a bi-gender person is to have some male and some female qualities simultaneously, to be masculine in one situation or in one aspect of your life and feminine in another. You can speak masculine or feminine, you can dress up in a skirt or in pants, you can play some boy and girl games and toys as a child. So for me, to be bi-gender is to choose what you would like to be in one situation or another, and follow your inner self-image rather than focusing on some expectations. It started in elementary school. I spent a lot of time at home questioning my gender, questioning my identity, asking myself what clothing can I wear, what games should I play, and one important question: should my clothing determine the games I'm playing or any kind of behavior that I participated in? Should I play dolls? Should I watch some girlish cartoons? Or can I choose and be myself and make my own decision in clothing, in selecting of games, in selecting of literature I prefer? Because probably probably I want to dress like a girl, but still want to see some action movies or other so-called traditionally masculine activities. So I questioned myself a lot, asked and lived with this during my school years. Well, at first I didn't share it with anyone. So I spent time by myself, having a lot of contemplations, but my classmates were not okay with my overall less masculine, less aggressive behavior. But as a bi-gender person, I used some of my masculine qualities to establish my high status in this group. I don't say that this is a good experience, but it is possible. Speaking of my mother, she is not very accepting. I shared it with her, but she's still asking me to limit it as much as possible and play a masculine role in front of her. It's a long process, and I want to keep a relationship with her and take more time to come to some better results. So I shared my gender identity with my mother a couple years ago, and it is very difficult for her to understand what does it mean. So she asked me to make some limitations on my gender expressions in front of her, to be more conservative, to be more masculine. And I understand that we need more time to understand each other together, understand each other better, and to establish some better connection between us, but the time is required for it. When I was in Russia, there was no opportunity to express any femininity in public. So I just tried some clothing at home. I evaluated my look, my appearance, my feelings. But I can tell I've seen a lot of negative reaction of Russian people towards anything that is different. And for example, I can tell you about Russian streets that are simply dangerous for anyone who is behaving not according to social norms, who violate any traditional standard. I remember one story a few years ago when there was an epidemic situation in St. Petersburg, and every TV channel and every radio station told people to go to pharmacy and buy as many medical masks as possible. There were no limit in supply, and to put them on in any public places, especially in a subway. You can imagine how fast it can spread in this closed place with a lot of people. And I, as a responsible person, went to pharmacy, bought a pack of masks, put one on, and went to the subway. And I was very surprised to be stopped by some big Russian guy and asked if I'm normal. Then I understood that you can be discriminated for being different, even if it is logical, reasonable, 100% justified. And then I imagined what would be if I wear not a mask but a skirt. And in Russia it can lead to very dim consequences. But this is about the streets, and Russia also. Offices in Russia are different. They are more hypocritical. Nobody will blame you directly, but when you see people in Russian offices, you can see they are well educated, well behaved. They are following all the trends, all the cultural events and tendencies, protecting all the minorities, following modern discourse, so to say. But then you see that they are okay and they respect LGBT rights and freedoms only till the moment when they see any LGBT person, any LGBT people in person. So they are fine with LGBT until it is far away. So it's more like a theoretical appreciation. Because I remember when we have a milestone, one day we have a milestone celebration in one of the offices, and everyone was from different departments and behaved very formal. But one of the ladies decided that there was a talk about LGBT rights in Russia, and one of the ladies who looked very modest, very conservative, and you don't expect any aggression from her, started to complain that she saw, as she told, she told some gay person in a sparkling sequin dress, pink, sparkling, glittering sequin dress, and she kept repeating and repeating it as it was something that can destroy the Russian culture or anyone's psychic, anything. So she presented gay people, as she told gay people, as a threat, but simultaneously she mixed this sexual orientation, gender identity and gender expression together. So I could see that she's far from this topic, but she's very negative nonetheless. That's what you can see in a more civilized part of Russia, where people not attacking you physically, but can attack you morally. And that's why I moved to Europe. Colleagues in the office are usually very formal, very educated, good people, and they don't explain. They don't ask any personal questions. So I can be more open with them, but you always have these soft moral pressure, like some statements that LGBT people violate non-LGBT people's rights the same way as it works in other direction. They told that gay marriage is not a marriage because it contradicts some traditional definition of union, family, or marriage as a union of male and female. So we had some discussions. I shared some of my ideas. But I understand it will be stupid to simply implement my goals, to be myself, because I can be just morally criticized for it and say, you are just violating our dress code, or you are it's inappropriate for the office. Or it's inappropriate for our country. That's why I had some theoretical discussions, but from these discussions you can immediately understand that it is not appropriate to be gender non-conformant or gender fluid or bi-gender, whatever you from any angle you look at this non-standard gender expression. Then I moved to Latvia. I have job propositions from 2 different companies in 2 different countries, and I decided to choose the bigger company to understand if its culture differs from the culture of the smaller ones. And, as I then saw, it is, because when some corporation is trying to establish a bigger working group to mix together more people, they need to have some rules to follow and some ideas to share. That's why I started to look for new opportunities, to check what is possible in my new working place, and I studied the code of ethics of our company. Our company protecting the rights of a lot of different minorities, and then when I got this idea of protecting the LGBT rights minorities and the idea of being authentic at work, I decided to try. What does it mean in practice? I went step by step. So I changed my clothing to unisex first and to feminine next. I understood that to express yourself socially is more than just wearing something. So I started to change my behavior, to change my voice, to use the preferred form of my name, to use the preferred pronoun, and after combining a lot of small things together, I understood that everything I'm doing can be done in a more productive way, in a more comfortable way for me if I don't pay attention to a lot of annoying factors, like looking not in a way I feel like speaking in a way that I don't feel comfortable. And after combining everything together, I came to the conclusion that it is better to share it's better to be authentic at work and to share my authentic thinking, my authentic ideas, and be myself. If I dressed in a way that I don't like, I have it in my mind as something annoying, as something inappropriate, as something that makes some pressure on my mood, and it makes my work less productive. Then, when I need to speak to anyone, I need to express my idea mentally, and then translate it into accepted form in some, let's say, masculine, direct, or otherwise masculine. So it starts from getting rid of some limiting factors of getting rid of obstacles, but then you move forward and start to be more direct, more authentic, more creative, and your company are getting this better outcome of your work. But it also important that you become not only human resource, not only an object, an instrument for achieving something, but a person, someone who shares not only professional skills but also soft skills, also some ideas, some creativity, etc. So if every person at work will share their inner understanding of what's going on, be brave, be bold about it, then the outcome of the company will lead to more humane, more creative, more useful product. You can imagine. I can tell you that I was allowed to dress as I want. We had some discussions and improvements in our dress code policies to make the same rules for any person, regardless of their gender. It doesn't mean that you can go to work in some mini skirt or bright makeup or anything, but there should be no double standards. There should not be the good way to improve this gender expression and to improve the ways for people to express their gender is to allow them follow the same rules with no limitations based on their sex, I'd say. I continue to grow as a professional, and during my psychological transitioning, as I've called it, so I kept doing my job to help other people organize their work, and it was very productive. As I understand, this was a useful practice for me and for my teammates. And of course, we have a lot of other plans and actions, like having unisex restrooms, like participating in pride parades, having some events for LGBT people. We have an LGBT ally program to share share the idea that it is okay and it is fine to be different and to have a different sexual orientation or gender identity or expression. And this creates a more friendly working environment that leads to better results, to better products, and allows you to be better and your clients to be more satisfied. So Latvia is a safer place than Russia, but it is one of the least safe places in the European Union. So it depends on a place. I still need to be very careful and hide myself when I move. When I'm on a street, I need to put a hat on. I need to cover myself with some coat. When you go out, you need to limit your colors, your style. So you still see some gazes, some can hear some comments, and for me it is a very non-stable situation. I believe that situation can be improved if people are better educated, if people are better educated, if people share the ideas, be more open, and just understand that not everyone is the same, and to limit your uniqueness is a way to a very dull and boring and not happy place not a happy place to live in. That's why I don't feel so intimidated as in Russia, but there is a lot of work to be done until you can relax and just be yourself anywhere. When I become more open about my gender identity, the finding of new friends become more simple and more adequate, more direct. Because previously I started to previously when I date some ladies, I started to do it as a male person, then slowly explain that, and slowly explain that I have some ideas, some interests, some unusual dreams, and then I told that I actually a bigender person, and it was such a long and such a painful dating process that neither I liked it, neither my counterpart. And now when I put my gender identity directly in Tinder or another place, I see more direct and more open connection, and I see that Latvian people are more open-minded than you can guess by just facing some random guy at the street and listening to their comments. So I can tell that Latvian society is more or less open, but there are some tendencies, some habits, or some people who are still suspicious about anything non-standard, and we need gender non-conformant people need to be more open, more to show other people that it is possible to be to live together even if we are not the same, and that there is no danger in LGBT, that we are not destroying anything, not crushing anything, don't want to attack anyone. We just have some priorities, some identities, some preferences. If we communicate more, then it will lead to a better society, better life in this country. Well, I can tell that there are a lot of people in there are a lot of people in Accenture who works as role models, and you can ask them questions. With some people I can share my ideas and my achievements, professional or personal. And when you see some real people, not some role model from the TV screen, then it helps you to grow faster and believe some things to be true, and really follow your goals and be yourself. I like females. I date ladies. So it can start as a friendship and grow to something more significant. I didn't change my name legally, and I'm just using the male and female form of my real name interchangeably. I find it very simple, very useful, and I want to sustain my personal to sustain myself as a single person, either male or female.